welcome back to Algebra II, Chapter 8, Section 3 in this book. What we're talking about is the number e. Everybody knows about pi, and nobody knows about e. We're going to learn more about where it comes from as we learn about logs, and where you're going to use logs practically a lot is in chemistry. So a lot of you might have already learned about logs when you studied pH in chemistry. I learned a lot of my math first in science. We got to it in science before we got to it in math, so that's a problem. I learned trig in physics class. I didn't learn it in math class. Finally we got to it in math. It's like, I already know this. Some old horse caught another horse taking its way. All right, and it was another kid who actually taught it to me. The teacher left. He got called to the office or something, and he was doing all this trig stuff on the board, and we all looked around and said, I don't know what he's doing. Do you know what he's doing? And there was one kid, Doug Stoner, and he said, I know what it is. And we said, show us. And he went to the board and very quickly taught us right angle trig, and we were ready to go then. So, yay Doug. He's like a politician in Smyrna now. Okay, but started off as my first trig teacher. Alright, so we're going to be doing this on our calculator. The number, like how pi is about 3.14, but just like pi it's irrational, is 2.718,281 forever. Just like pi, you treat it like an x if it's a problem like this. So if this was x to the third times x to the fourth, and be x to the seventh, this is also e to the seventh. Same thing here. I have two e's on bottom that cancel out two of those, so I'm left with an e. 10 is made out of 2 times 5. The 5 cancels out, and I'm left with 2e. See, there's the 2 and there's the e. Okay, this one looks fancy. The 3 is going to get squared and stay in numerator land, that 2 getting distributed to it. This literally means negative 4x times 2, and because of that negative, then it can shoot a portal in the division bar, and because it's the portal gun from the game Portal, and it drops the e and its exponent through, and 4 times 2 is 8. So all we have to do is say 3 squared is 9 over e to the 8x. Whoop, that's it, that's it, that's it. Alright, so see, this is pretty easy, isn't it? You will do these on your calculator. Where you find it is it's the second of the natural log. You've got a unnatural log, which is spelt log like what goes in the fireplace, and then you've got natural log, and guess when you're going to learn more about that? When we talk about logs. They're sort of got the cart before the horse here, but we can deal with it. Just know that that's where it is. So on your calculator, I want you to pause this and try it. You'll do second log, get your e, then you fill in 2, and then hit enter, and it'll be 7.38 on and on. Also try this one. Do e and make it the exponent negative 0.06. It's about 9.4. Also, I want you to graph this on your calculator. Go to y equals, do e, and then do up arrow and put an x. It looks like this. And then I want you to do this one on your calculator. You go to y equals, do e, and then do negative x, and see how it's shaped. So these are calculator problems. They're easy. Back in the day, before me, for people a little older than me, these were very hard because you had to use slide rulers and stuff like that. We got the TI-84. Alright, so on this, say you've got this and you have to graph it. I want you to go to your calculator and put y equals 2e to the 0.75x. Graph it. Then you can either go to table or trace. I like trace better. I would say trace, which is right, that button right next to graph. Say trace, and then say if x is 0, and it'll tell me that y is 2. I'll put in if x is 1, y is 0.423. Normally, I look for ones that are nice whole numbers. With e, you're not going to get nice whole numbers. You can get nice numbers usually for the x and maybe 1y. Other than that, they're going to be weird decimals. So just make your x's whole numbers, like you could do negative 1, and then get 3 points, draw your line, put your arrowheads on there, you're good to go. This also has shifts, our H and K. Remember, H is always in parentheses, under a radical, in absolute value signs. Somehow H is enclosed with X. And here it's parentheses. And it's the opposite sign of H, horizontal. So the opposite of negative is positive. So it's going to go, my graph, my regular graph here, will move 2 places to the positive direction, and then K is down here in numerator land, and it's this with the same sign, and it's +1. So this graph, it's negative, this graph would go this way 2 places and up 1. So maybe it'd be over there or something like that. So play with that, do it on your calculator. Now, we are given one formula. Remember I told you we get more formulas with interest, and there's an interest formula that contains E. And I say it's A pert. I think there still is a shampoo. My hair's wet, I just got in the shower. There's a shampoo called Pert. So I always think of Pert shampoo with this. That's how I remember it. It's A pert. So P is your principal weight you started with, and here we're starting with $1,000. And then E is E, just like pi. R is your rate, and it was 8%, and we have to change it to a decimal, so it's 0.08. And they want us to find out the interest after 1 year. Now, continuously compounded interest, you're not going to get that at your little local bank. This is for fancier banking than what I do. But this is what would be. If I start with $1,000, you do E to the 0.08, and you can even put this in your calculator, parentheses around -1. You can type it in, +1, you can type it in exactly. And after a year, you'd have $83.29 in interest. So do this, practice with your calculator. If you just watch me do it, you're not going to be able to do it. You've got to practice it yourself. Practice, 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 do your homework. I only give you the odds, check your answers after every one. Come back and guess what we're going to talk about? I think logs. Math is great.